Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic of eddy currents. In the previous lecture, we have discussed the phenomenon of electromagnetic induction. We are already aware that in case the magnetic flux linked with a coil changes, then an induced EMF is produced in the coil, which is always of opposing nature, right? So Foucault found that when the magnetic flux linked with a metallic conductor changes, then induced currents are set up in the conductor in the form of closed loops. So Foucault, what he found was, Foucault found that when magnetic field or magnetic flux linked with a metallic conductor changes, and this metallic conductor can be in the form of a plate or it can be in the form of a sheet. Then when the magnetic flux linked with this metallic conductor changes, then induced currents are set up. Induced currents are set up in the conductor. And they are in the form of closed loops. In the form of closed loops. These currents, which are in the form of closed loops, they look like eddies. They're also known as whirlpools. So these currents look like eddies, E-double-D-I-E-S, eddies or whirlpools, and hence are known as eddy currents. And since students, they were first studied by Foucault, and therefore eddy currents are also known as Foucault's current. They are also known as Foucault's current. So basically eddy currents are the induced current only, which get produced in a metallic conductor, which is in the form of a sheet or a plate, whenever the magnetic flux linked with the conductor changes. And it is also of opposing nature. As per Lenz's law, we are already aware the direction of the induced current is such that it opposes the changes or the causes that produces it. So therefore students, eddy currents are the currents induced in a conductor when placed in a changing magnetic field or when placed in a changing magnetic flux, right? So this is regarding eddy currents. Now suppose, let me elaborate the formation of eddy currents with the help of diagram. Let us consider this to be a metallic plate, or it may be in the form of a sheet as well, right? This is a metallic plate. Now whenever it is placed under the influence of changing magnetic field or changing magnetic flux, and if it happens that the magnetic field is perpendicular, then the electrons in the conductor tend to rearrange themselves so as to move in circular paths, closed paths. So that gives rise to the eddy currents. So eddy currents are in the form of eddies, or they are in the form of whirlpools like this. So they are in the form of closed loops. So such induced currents which get developed in the conductor in the form of plate or sheet under the influence of changing magnetic field or changing magnetic flux, these currents are known as eddy currents. Clear, students? So, in order to understand eddy currents in a better manner, let us first watch this animation so as to understand the concepts involved in the formation of eddy currents much more in a better manner, right? So let's watch this animation. Let us discuss the origin of eddy currents through this animation. When a bar magnet is brought closer to the metallic plate, then induced currents are set up in the metallic conductor in the form of closed loops. These currents look like eddies or whirlpools and likewise are known as eddy currents. As per Lenz's law, the direction of the induced current is always such as to oppose the changes or causes that produces it. When the magnet approaches the metallic plate, then the direction of the induced current is such that it opposes the approaching magnet. And when the magnet recedes from the metallic plate, then the direction of the induced current is such that it opposes the receding magnet. In both the cases, the direction of the induced current is always of opposing nature. These currents, which are in the form of eddies or whirlpools, are also known as Foucault's current. Let us discuss another example so as to understand the existence of eddy currents. Let us consider a strong magnet to be made to fall on a copper metallic plate. As you can see, as the magnet is made to fall, then it experiences some resistance. It is because as the magnet comes down, the electrons inside the copper conductor under the influence of this perpendicular magnetic field moves along circular path, resulting into the formation of eddy currents. Now, as per Lenz's law, due to the opposing nature of the eddy currents, it opposes the falling magnet because the lower face of the falling magnet and the upper face of the conductor acquires the same polarity. Let us consider this following experiment so as to explain the origin of eddy currents. Right? This is a soft iron core and it is inside a solenoid. This is a solenoid. So a soft iron core is introduced inside a solenoid as a core, right? And soft iron, we are aware its magnetic permeability is very, very large. It is a ferromagnetic substance, isn't it? And it is connected to a source of alternating EMF. This is the symbol of a source of alternating EMF. This is a source of alternating EMF. It is a source of alternating EMF. So basically, it makes the current to flow in the coil, and the current, its magnitude and direction changes periodically, right? So that is known as an alternating current, and alternating, this is the source of alternating EMF. So basically what happens is, when we place a metallic disc, this is a metallic disc. So when a metallic disc is placed over the cross-sectional, this is the cross-section of the soft iron core as shown in this figure, and if the circuit is switched on, then it is found that this disc will be thrown up into the air. It will get thrown up into the air. So this phenomena is also known as magnetic levitation. Again, let me repeat it. Introduce a soft iron core inside a solenoid and connect it to an alternating source of EMF. Now, let us place a metallic disc over this cross-section of the soft iron core. Now, as the circuit is switched on, it is found that the metallic disc is thrown up into the air. Now, the explanation of this observation lies in the fact that when the circuit is switched on, then what happens is the current through the coil starts growing through the solenoid. Now, as the current grows, the magnetic field lines inside the axis of the solenoid and hence the magnetic flux through the disc also increases, let's say from 0 to some finite value. So what happens is, suppose during the first half of the alternating current, the current flows and the magnetic field lines starts increasing along the axis along this direction. Let us assume it. These are the magnetic field lines. So as the current through the solenoid increases, the magnetic field lines and hence the magnetic flux linked with the solenoid and hence linked with the metallic disc placed over the cross section of the soft iron core will also start increasing. So these are the magnetic field lines which will tend to increase, right? Now, since this metallic disc is placed over this cross section of the soft iron core, therefore with the change in the magnetic flux linked with the soft iron core, the magnetic flux linked with the metallic plate will also start changing. And as a result of the phenomenon of electromagnetic induction, an opposing induced EMF or current in the form of eddies or whirlpools will get established, and the direction of which will be such that it opposes the increasing magnetic field lines through the metallic plate. So what happens is, the induced currents are produced in the disc, and as per Lenz's law, the induced current set up in the disc acts in such a manner that it opposes the increase of the magnetic flux through it. And as a result, the disc is thrown up. That is, it is thrown up away from the soft iron core. So let us consider the magnetic field lines to be growing along this direction. So as a result, this end of the solenoid, it will act as south polarity, isn't it? It will act as south polarity, while the top end, it will act as north polarity. It will act as north polarity. Because we know that a current carrying solenoid, it does behave as a magnetic dipole. It behaves as a bar magnet. So one end of it will behave as south, the other end will behave as north pole. So magnetic field lines inside the magnet is from south to north. And due to the increase in the current, the magnetic field linked with the solenoid will also increase. And due to the increase in the magnetic field, the magnetic flux linked with the coil and hence the magnetic flux linked with the metallic conductor placed on the cross section of the soft iron will also increase. Now look students, due to this change, or rather due to this increase in the magnetic flux linked with this metallic conductor, an induced current will get produced. And the direction of the induced current produced over here will be such that it opposes the increase in the magnetic flux along this direction. So the direction will be here such that it tends to oppose the growing magnetic flux. So it will resist, or it will have opposing nature only when the lower face of this metallic conductor will acquire the same polarity as that of the top end of the soft iron core. So if in this case, if the iron core at this end, if it acquires north polarity, then the lower face of the metallic conductor which is placed on the iron core will also acquire the same polarity, that is north polarity, and the upper face will acquire south polarity. So as a result, what happens is, due to the similar nature of the polarity of the lower cross-sectional area of the disc and the upper end of the soft iron core, there will exist a magnetic force of repulsion. And students, it is due to this magnetic force of repulsion that as the circuit is switched on, the metallic disc is thrown up into the air. So this is the phenomena involved. And here the conductor is in the form of plate or sheet, isn't it? It is a disc. So here the current so produced, it's in the form of eddies or whirlpools. As I've stated earlier, whenever the electrons in this metallic disc is under the influence of perpendicular magnetic field, so what happens is the electrons in the disc tends to rearrange themselves and they tend to move along circular path. So that is the reason for the existence of induced current in the form of closed loops. And these induced currents, so produced in the disc or the metallic sheet or the metallic plate, which are in the form of eddies or whirlpools, they are known as eddy currents. And as I've told you, these eddy currents were first studied by Foucault, and accordingly, eddy currents are also known as Foucault's current. Students, there are some other experimental verification of the origin of eddy currents as well. Like the production of eddy currents in a metallic plate, which is oscillating inside the magnetic field, it produces damping effect. Now, this is known as electromagnetic damping and is made use of in number of practical situations. Now, before we discuss the applications of eddy currents, let us concentrate on some more experimental verification. So, let us watch this short clipping. Let us discuss some experiments so as to explain the origin of eddy currents. Let's introduce a soft iron core inside a solenoid and let it be connected to a source of alternating EMF. Let's place a metallic ring over the cross-sectional face of the soft iron core. Now, Foucault found that when the magnetic flux linked with the metallic conductor changes, then an induced current is set up in the conductor in the form of closed loops. These currents look like eddies or whirlpools, and likewise they are known as eddy currents, and they are also known as Foucault's currents. This phenomena of throwing up of the ring is actually known as magnetic levitation. When the circuit is switched on, the current starts growing through the solenoid, and as the current grows, the magnetic field lines along the axis of the solenoid, and hence the magnetic flux through the disc also increases from 0 to some finite value. Due to this change in the magnetic flux linked with the coil, induced currents are produced in the ring. Now, according to Lenz's law, the induced current so set up in the ring acts in such a manner that it opposes the increase of the magnetic flux through it. And this is the reason why the disc is thrown up. That is, it is thrown up away from the soft iron core. This is known as magnetic levitation. Now let's discuss some other experiments as well. Consider a flat metallic plate. In the absence of any magnetic field, it is found that the metallic plate oscillates freely and its oscillatory motion can continue for a reasonably long time. However, when the magnetic field is switched on, then the metallic plate comes to rest quite soon. This damping effect on the oscillatory motion of the metallic plate can be explained by applying Lenz's law. When metallic plate is in its equilibrium position, the magnetic flux linked with the plate is maximum. As the plate starts moving towards its extreme position, the area between the poles goes on decreasing, and hence the magnetic flux linked with the plate also goes on decreasing. It results in the production of induced currents in the plate in the form of closed loops. Now we are aware whenever the electrons in the metallic plate are under the influence of perpendicular magnetic field, then it moves along a circular path, and this is the reason of the production of the induced currents in the form of eddies or whirlpools. Now, as per the Lenz's law, the induced currents oppose the plate from moving towards its extreme position. Similarly, when the metallic plate returns from its extreme position and starts entering the magnetic field, the induced currents are set up, which again oppose the motion of the metallic plate. This is actually known as electromagnetic damping. Consider a metallic plate having narrow slots and suspended between the poles of a magnet. It obviously oscillates much more freely than in the case when it did not have slots in it. Now students, when the plate having narrow slots is made to oscillate between the two poles of a magnet, then obviously there is a change in the magnetic flux linked with the metallic plate. And as per the phenomenon of electromagnetic induction, induced current in the form of closed loop known as eddy currents are formed. Now, the magnitude of the eddy currents produced in this case is much lesser. This explains why the metallic plate swings much more freely in this case. The reason is that for a closed loop of same area, the electrons have to cover a much larger path in this case. In traversing the path of larger length, the electrons experience more resistance, with the result that the eddy currents produced are smaller. Therefore, it can be used as one of the methods to reduce eddy currents. After the experimental verification of eddy currents by several experiments which we have discussed in the video, now let's discuss the applications of eddy currents, right? First application is deadbeat galvanometers. Now, as we have discussed, the oscillations of a moving coil galvanometer generally, it takes a very long time to die out. It actually keeps on oscillating for a long duration. But by winding its coil on a metallic frame made up of maybe copper or aluminum, the galvanometer can be made deadbeat. Deadbeat means its oscillations can be stopped, or it can be made to come to rest very soon due to the production of eddy currents. So there's the use of deadbeat galvanometers, right? Second application is electromagnetic damping. It is also based on the same thing, electromagnetic damping. So students, again I repeat, the oscillations of a coil of galvanometer can also be stopped by short-circuiting the two ends of the coil through a tapping key. Now when the tapping key is pressed, what happens is the coil circuit is closed and the eddy currents are produced due to the motion of the coil inside the magnetic field produced by the magnet of the galvanometer. And we are all aware, as per Lenz's law, the direction of the eddy currents is such that it opposes the oscillations of the coil. So basically, the phenomena of producing the damping effect in the oscillations of a coil under the influence of magnetic field, that is known as electromagnetic damping. It is purely the application of the production of eddy currents. Third is, it can also be used in induction furnace. Or induction motors. Students, we are all aware a rotating magnetic field is produced by means of two single-phase currents, and a metallic rotor placed inside a rotating magnetic field starts rotating due to large eddy currents produced in it. And these motors are generally used in fans, and they are known as induction motors basically. And induction furnace, very high temperature can be produced by producing large eddy currents. We know that current produces heating effect. So the high frequency eddy currents are preferred because of the reason that heating effect of the current is proportional to the square of the frequency of the current. So in the case of induction furnace also, the eddy currents are used. Fourth is diathermy. This is one of the medical applications. Diathermy. Now eddy currents have been used for deep heat treatment. Diathermy means deep, therm means heat. So it is basically deep heat treatment. So eddy current is also having medical applications. And this deep heat treatment is known as diathermy. There are some other applications as well. It is also used in a speedometer of an automobile. Speedometer. We generally use vehicles, whether it's a scooty or a motorbike or car. So in a speedometer of an automobile, a small magnet is geared to the main shaft of the vehicle. and it rotates according to the speed of the vehicle. And that small magnet is mounted in an aluminum cylinder with the help of hairsprings. When the magnet rotates, then obviously it produces eddy currents in the drum. And due to that effect of eddy currents, the drum tries to oppose the motion of the rotating magnet. So in turn, the drum experiences a torque and gets deflected through certain angle. And the pointer attached to the drum moves over a calibrated scale which directly indicates the speed of the vehicle. So that is how the speedometer is used to measure the speed of a moving vehicle, right? It is also used in energy meters. In energy meters, the armature coil carries a metallic aluminum disc which rotates between the poles of a pair of permanent horseshoe magnets. And as the armature rotates, the current induced in the disc tends to oppose the motion of the armature coil. And due to this braking effect, the deflection is proportional to the energy consumed. So students, these are some of the applications of eddy currents. Now there are some undesirable effects of eddy currents as well. Now as we have discussed, the resistance of a metallic conductor, we are aware, is very, very low, isn't it? So what happens is, due to the low resistance, the magnitude of the eddy current is very, very large. Again, I repeat students, the resistance of a metallic conductor is very low. Therefore, the magnitude of the eddy current so produced in a metallic conductor is very, very large. And as we are aware, the amount of heat produced is directly proportional to I square. So, with the large magnitude of the eddy current, a large amount of heat is produced. A very large, enormous amount of heat is produced due to Joule's heating effect. And if this large eddy currents are allowed to produce in the core of a choke coil, transformer or dynamo, then obviously it may produce undesirable effects. So the eddy currents produced in the core of a transformer are reduced by making use of laminated core. So laminated core may be used to reduce the magnitude of the eddy current so as to minimize the energy loss due to heating effect. Actually, the thick core of a transformer is formed by joining identical iron strips together after insulating them from each other by coating them with varnish. And we are all aware, resistance of an iron strip will be much larger than the resistance of a thick core. Resistance, we are aware, it's inversely proportional to the cross-sectional area. So basically, for a very thin strip, it will offer large resistance. Large resistance means low current. Low current means small heat will be produced. So therefore, the transformer can be saved from getting heated by using iron core or by using laminated core, right? And there is another method also so as to reduce the magnitude of the eddy current. We have discussed by using a metallic plate which is having narrow slots, and that can also reduce in reducing the eddy currents. This is suppose a metallic conductor, and this another metallic conductor having narrow slots in it. Just now we have watched a video related to this, isn't it? Let me explain it again. It's a very important concept. So this is a metallic frame having narrow slot over it. So actually what happens is, if it is made to oscillate under the influence of changing magnetic field or under the influence of uniform magnetic field, as it oscillates, the magnetic flux linked with it changes and induced current is produced, isn't it? Here the induced current produced is of large magnitude. So it abruptly stops or it comes to rest quite quickly when it is made to oscillate under the influence of magnetic field. While on the other hand, when a metallic plate having narrow slots and suspended between the two poles of a magnet is made to oscillate, then what happens is the metallic plate swings much more freely than in the case when it did not have slots in it. So we have already discussed in the video that it is because the magnitude of eddy currents produced in the case of metallic plate having narrow slots is much lesser. The reason is that for any closed loop of the same area, there's a closed loop, consider these two to be almost of the same area, the electrons have to cover a much larger path in this case. The electrons, in order to complete the loop, it has to cover a much larger distance like this. It has to cover a much larger distance so as to complete the loop. While in this case, the path followed by the electron to complete the loop is quite small. So smaller path means smaller resistance. Smaller resistance means larger the current. Here the path being longer, the resistance offered will be much more. So the magnitude of the eddy current get reduced drastically. So in traversing a path of larger length, the electrons experience more resistance, with the result that the eddy currents produced are smaller. Therefore, this is another method so as to reduce eddy currents, right? So these were some of the applications of eddy currents, and obviously we have discussed the undesirable effects of eddy currents as well. So students, in this episode we have discussed eddy currents, then we have discussed the experimental verification with the help of those short clippings and video, and obviously last but not the least we have discussed the applications of eddy currents as well as the undesirable effects of eddy currents. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this video and understood all the concepts involved in it. So do join me in my next lecture then. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.